For 21 days after a birth, a rope of pine and pepper hangs on the gate to keep strangers, and something else, away. The door is marked with charcoal. The room is kept dark and warm. And in the corner, a bowl of rice and seaweed is set out for a visitor no one will see. She is called Samsin Halmoni, the grandmother of the three. She decides who will be born, and she guards the newborn's first weeks. But why is the giver of life imagined as an old woman, not a young mother? The answer is not in the myth. It's in the memory of a time when most children never saw their first birthday.
In the old records, Samsin Halmoni is not one but three grandmothers. They sit together in the birth room, invisible, weaving the fate of the child. According to the customs, when a baby is born, the family prepares a small table of rice and soup. The grandmothers are invited to eat, to bless the child with long life and health. The rope on the gate, called a gumjul, warns the community, a birth has happened here. Strangers, and especially those who have recently visited a house of death, are kept away. For 21 days, the mother and child are in a state of separation, suspended between worlds. And the grandmothers are the only ones who can cross that threshold.
The myth says that Samsin Halmoni was once a human woman, a healer or a shaman, who was deified after her death. In some versions, she is the daughter of a mountain god. In others, she is the first ancestor, the mother of all. But there is a deeper layer. The number 3 is not arbitrary. In many East Asian traditions, the number 3 represents the past, present and future. The three grandmothers see the child's entire life, what was, what is, and what will be. They are not just guardians, they are the ones who wrote the child's fate before birth. And that fate was often brutal. In the records of the Joseon dynasty, infant mortality was staggering. 1 in 3 children died before the age of 10. The grandmothers were not just a comfort, they were a way to make sense of the unbearable.
But here is the twist. The grandmothers are not always kind. In the stories, they can be capricious. If the offerings are not made properly, if the mother breaks a taboo, they can take the child back. The same figure who gives life can also take it away. This is the midpoint reversal. The grandmother is not a simple protector. She is a force of nature, impartial and ancient. And this is where the myth encodes a real medical memory. In the time before modern medicine, the first few weeks after birth were the most dangerous. Tetanus, infection, and complications could kill both mother and child. The grandmothers were a way to give a name to that danger. They were the ones who decided, and you could only hope they were pleased.
As the centuries passed, the grandmothers were gradually forgotten. With the advent of modern medicine, the need for a supernatural guardian faded. But the memory did not disappear. It was transformed. In Korea, there is a saying, a child is born with the help of Samsin Halmoni. Even today, some families still perform the rituals, though they may not know why. The grandmothers have become a symbol of the fragility of life, and the resilience of those who survive. They are not just a myth, they are a memory of a time when every birth was a gamble, and every child who lived was a miracle.
So why an old woman? Because the grandmother is the one who has seen it all. She has watched generations be born and die. She knows that life is a gift that can be taken away in an instant. She is not a young mother, full of hope and inexperience. She is the wisdom of the ages, the one who has learned to accept the whims of fate. And in that acceptance, there is a strange comfort. The grandmother is not cruel, she is just honest. She does not promise that the child will live. She only promises that she will be there, either way. And that is enough.
The rope of pine and pepper is taken down on the 21st day. The charcoal is washed from the door. The mother and child rejoin the world. And the grandmothers, unseen, slip back into the shadows. But they are never far. In the next birth, in the next village, they will be called again. Because even in a world of hospitals and vaccines, there is still a need for a face to thank when the child lives, and a face to blame when the child does not. We gave survival a grandmother's face because someone had to be thanked. And that is the truth the myth has carried all along.